Hello and welcome back to Knuckles FM. Today we were going to talk about this asteroid that was heading towards Earth and should be here around November, but we're actually going to be talking about this psycho bitch that fell in love with her psychiatrist. Here joining me is my wife and all four of my pugs. Yeah. Look at them.
They love me.
Today, so on TikTok, there's been a lot going on with, so over the past 5 days, there's been a giant story brewing on TikTok. This girl who fell in love with her psychiatrist. This is a 16-part series, and this will be the first time we dive deep into some drama on this channel. I'm very excited for it.
I have not heard of this story.
Yeah, that's why I have my wife in here, because she hasn't heard anything about this lady right here, and I'm telling you what, from what I've heard, this is a treat. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
So this is a very special episode of Knuckles FM, the Tea Hour.
Do you want to make sure that you can hear us?
All right, going into part 1 of this 16 parts, and it's still happening as we go on.
Yeah.
Well, so there will be more eventually, but for now, we're getting the whole scoop up to date. August 6th. It'll be August 7th when this is uploaded. So here we go.
I fell in love with my psychiatrist, and he knew, and he kept me until I had the strength to leave after 4 years. Here it is, part 1.
4 years is wild.
So I decided to go back on ADHD meds after many years of being off of them.
If I'm being honest, I think that should be a big telltale sign. The beginning there. She's off of her ADHD meds.
Yeah, and did he really know?
Hey, we're gonna dive deep in today's tea.
I was on them in my early 20s to help me get through college, and then I went off of them because they just weren't, like, the side effects were too much over the benefits. But then in my late 20s, I read this book, Taking Charge of Adult ADHD, and it absolutely changed my life. For my fellow ADHDers, there's so many good things in here. And the biggest thing that I took away was that it's very important for ADHDers to be on meds. So I decided to make an appointment with a psychiatrist. I just Googled psychiatry in the city that I lived in, and I went with the first one that came up, and I got an appointment within a month. And then I booked a 90-minute intake, and I show up to the intake, and this man is my age, and I can't help but notice that he's pretty attractive, this psychiatrist.
I feel like that's a red flag at that point.
I fell in love with my psychiatrist.
All right. That was part 1. Part 1 of this series. Can you tell this is about to get stupid?
Yes.
All right. So we'll just go ahead and get into part 2 while we're here.
I fell in love with my psychiatrist, and he kept me anyway, part 2.
I'm confused by the kept her
in this
anyway
intake,
part.
You know, I kind of clocked
What'd
that
you say?
he was
I can't hear
attractive.
you.
I'm confused about the kept her part.
Kept her?
Yes. Oh, she's
Well,
like, I fell in love, but he
she's
kept me anyway.
I think she's saying that since he knew, if you know that your patient has feelings for you, you should, like, make sure they go to someone else.
Oh.
But I don't know.
I feel
That's
like
what I'm guessing.
the way I'm looking at it, just by off of part 1, the way she is, I think this was all in her head, and he did not see any signal of what she sees at all. And it apparently took 4 years.
We don't have his reaction.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah.
But when I tell you that I've had a lot of couch time in my life, a lot of therapy, you know, I just went right into it. I trusted him enough, of course, why wouldn't I, to tell him about my childhood trauma, my daddy issues, if you will, what I had went through, all of the relationship trauma that I had. I was 6 months sober at this time, but like all of the drinking and substance use I used to do. And he just listened and nodded. And that's the thing about psychiatrists, is that they're good at pretending to listen. They can appear connected, but that doesn't mean that they're always connected. So I just felt really seen. And I also told him, I was like, look, I don't want to be on stimulant meds. So he listened to me and he put me on the non-stimulant ADHD med at the lowest dose just to figure out if it was going to work for me. I fell in love with my psychiatrist.
Okay, there's a lot of telltale signs here.
Why did you go into they are good at pretending to listen, but you just said that he listened to you?
She felt seen. Look at
And he kept me anyway, part 2.
Look at Fudge.
She's sleeping.
They're all sleeping on you.
They love it.
No, I think the other telltale sign is that how she's been through a lot of therapy, and all of a sudden just
Drinking and drugs.
ADHD medicine, needed it. We need it bad. So what could go wrong with part 3? Oh, we're outside now.
I was in love with my psychiatrist and he kept me anyway, part 3. So I hadn't ever seen a psychiatrist before. When I was on meds, I only got meds from my primary care physician. So I didn't understand how psychiatry works. So because he was figuring out my med dose, I saw him every month, and he just made me feel like I was his friend. He was really,
as
really
they should.
You mean like an actual psychiatrist?
Folks, and told me he was impressed with my running that I would do, and yeah. So of course I loved the attention that I got from him.
Bruh.
And it was in my 3rd session with him, because at this point we were all on Zoom, that I asked him, I said, hey, do you mind if I call you by your first name?
I feel like that's
is
that a flag
Pakistani, or? So I said his first name wrong, and he said, well, it's pronounced this, but yes, of course you can. And he seemed so smug and happy with himself. And I know that that is because that was his first sign that him pretending like we're friends was working. And to be fair to me, I had only ever been to therapy before. I didn't realize that, it's important to call your doctor last name. I mean, I did know that. I did it with all my other doctors, but it just showed that the boundaries were blurring, and he liked that. So from then on, from my 3rd session on...
Okay, this is already... she is psycho at this point. I hate her glasses.
You want...
Look at her.
Her eyes look tiny.
She's got the Sid face. Well, it's the lenses that like make your fucking... Oh my God. Like I could see the side of her head, but then her cheek does not line up at all.
I see that.
I hate it.
Why? Obviously, they want to establish like a friendly bond with their patient.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And if you want to,
this was the 4th visit or the 4th session.
3rd.
So it's been 3 months at this point.
Yeah.
Jesus, Murphy.
He's so smug.
He was so smug about it. I guess you could call me by my first name.
I started calling him his first name. And then he...
Also, I just want to say she's a fucking psycho because she has wired headphones. It has the microphone on it. That's wild.
Started turning up the volume on us being friendly. And he would ask me, for the first 6 sessions, he asked me,
after the meds, he said, how's your bowels, bladder, and appetite? And I would say they're all normal. And then he would ask me any thoughts of harm. And apparently that's pretty common for psychiatry to ask those questions. And then on our 6th session, when things were really, the chemistry was starting to be there before, like, I didn't realize it. I was like, oh, this man is just friendly. And he said, I have to ask this because it's a special interest of mine, but is there any thoughts of harm? Like I was special to him. And I said, no thoughts of harm. And he didn't ever ask me a clinical question again. He stopped asking me about my bladder, bowels, and appetite, and he stopped asking me about thoughts of harm. So to me, I would just show up and he was like a therapy appointment every month. I was in love with my
maybe you got your dosage good and he doesn't need to ask that anymore.
Yeah, like once, because the whole, what is that? That was 6 weeks, or the 6th session.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
6 months. Half a year has gone by. Probably at that point you could tell what your meds are doing at that moment. And I special in this.
Because it's a special interest of mine? I don't know why. Why would he say that? That doesn't make any sense. If he didn't say that before, why would he say that on the last session?
He probably...
Unless she's just saying that's what he said.
I mean, I feel like it's a 50-50 at this moment, but I also feel like this is a, like... It's a special... Like, he's... I feel like he's like, oh, it's just a special interest. Like, do you plan on this? Because, I bet after all the trauma that she just dumped on him, and with the meds... Do meds cause any, like... Suey thoughts?
Some of them could.
Yeah.
So that's why he had to ask.
I bet that's why.
And he kept...
Oh, yeah. Part 4.
So I was seeing him every month and just gaining more and more respect for him because he would just tell me these little things about his and all of the cool things that he was doing in his life. And it made me fall for him, honestly. And he was really good at listening. And I mean, he's a Pisces, right?
What? Oh,
so
God,
of course
no.
he's going to be there.
Okay, it took till part 4 to understand, full circle, how crazy she is. A Pisces. Is that the whole, with the planets in line, the stars in line?
Yeah, your zodiac sign.
Zodiac. Is that like, so people who say, like, oh, my zodiac sign is this. It's like, oh my God, I bet you're this. And it's like, oh, no, I'm not. And all that shit.
Yeah.
Could you explain what that is at all, or do you know much about it?
Like, about zodiac signs?
Yeah, like, is it just like they claim this is why I act this way? It's because I'm this?
Yeah, well, based on when you were, like, what month you were born in, and, aligned with the zodiac, the chart, it, like, gives a description, of, like, typically people born around, like, in this part of the month or this part of the chart, this is how they act, or this is how they usually are.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, this is definitely 100% me. And, yeah, I mean, I've seen some stuff, and some of it does align with, how I act, but I'm not going around being like, yeah, I'm this because this is what this is, and this is exactly me to a T.
Yeah, I honestly, I think maybe, when I was 12, like, oh my God, what am I, an Aries?
Yes.
Is that what an April? I'm an Aries. I'm a ram, right?
Yes.
I'm a ram.
Bro. That's what Aries do.
Is it really? No, it's not. What the fuck? I was like, no, it's not. All right. Oh, caught up.
Well, cancers are known to be very emotional.
Cancers.
That's me.
Oh, God.
Doesn't that make sense?
And be able to go deep with my feelings, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't extracting from them. Anyway, so I would beg him to let me see him every week.
I thought she said
Beg
peg.
him, because my therapist at the time, he was fine. You know, he wasn't a predator.
Oh, she was double dipping in therapy?
She was being.
Oh, it's
she
a
was,
psychiatrist and a therapist? Or are
Yeah.
they two different things?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Because therapists can't prescribe medications.
He was fine. He just wasn't doing very much for me. And
Yeah, because you
so
wanted this hot dude.
That therapist retired, and I got a new therapist. And this new therapist, who is a 75-year-old woman with a PhD, she was pretty helpful. So I stopped asking my psychiatrist, begging, honestly, to be my therapist and let me see him more, right? Which also should have been a red flag. But then I started focusing on this therapist. However, I would tell the therapist how obsessed I was with my psychiatrist, and she didn't do anything about it. She just was interested. She also loved stories about my dating life, and yeah, she also was getting supply from me in her own way, but that's for another part. So yeah, so I got a new therapist who actually helped me. She taught me CBT, EFT, all of these different modalities. And so I went back to just being okay with seeing Irfan once a month, while he was giving me these little breadcrumbs of making me feel special, telling me about his professional achievements, telling me about how he's getting international recognition. And it worked. I was really impressed.
He just said her name. She just said his name.
What was the name?
Dr. Irfan or something.
Irfan?
Irfan.
Yeah, I don't know. What exactly...
Just shit over here.
What is exactly a psychiatrist?
I don't know.
You Google it.
Bro.
Google it.
But, okay, so she just basically said that her new therapist, the woman...
Yeah.
...was getting stuff out of her, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but, I mean...
That's what they do.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that this is legit what they do. So why does it matter? Psychiatrist
versus therapist. Okay. A therapist is a licensed counselor or psychologist who works with patients to treat their mental health symptoms and improve how they manage stress and relationships. A psychiatrist is a medical doctor who can prescribe medication to treat mental health disorders.
Oh.
So, I mean, a therapist can be a psychiatrist, but they're usually just counseling on their feelings and everything. But the psychiatrist can also do that, but they can prescribe medications for people who have mental health disorders like her with her ADHD.
Okay, so double dipping at this point.
I got a new therapist. I stopped begging my psychiatrist to see me weekly. And that is when the reinforcement started.
Wait, didn't she ask to see?
Yes, that's what she just said. She was begging him, and that should have been a red flag.
Yeah, that's
why is that
some session?
I don't understand.
I have to see you next Friday.
I need to see you. Let me see you every week.
I need to see you.
That's just you being weird.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be warm and kind and wonderful and let me in on little parts of his life and like be vulnerable with me or pretend. Other sessions, he would be cold and clinical and detached. And you know what that did? It made me work harder in our next sessions. It did. And it started the addiction that I had to him. 100%. And he knew exactly what he was doing. This man gives lectures on trauma and attachment theory. He used his psychiatric training to manipulate me and get me hooked. And guess what? It worked. In
That's
January
you being crazy.
2024.
So what?
That's you being crazy.
I was hit by a car turning left as I was going through a green light.
That's why she's nuts.
And it was the night before my next appointment with my psychiatrist. So I was like, okay, I'll still be able to go to my appointment on Zoom. I'm okay. But I did make an appointment with an urgent care the next day just to get checked out. I had bruising on my abdomen and a perforated eardrum. And the provider
How hard did she get hit?
Said, I do not feel comfortable treating you. You need to seek emergency care now. You may be internally bleeding. But it was 11 o'clock in the morning, and my appointment...
Oh, no. Don't tell me. The only reason I paused it was this bitch got hit, like, have you ever seen the movie Whiplash? I don't think you have. There's a moment in there where the main character, he gets in a bad car accident, bleeding, and still, instead of going to the hospital, goes to this concert that he has to perform at.
With my psychiatrist was at 2. So I decided that I was going to wait so I could see my psychiatrist.
That's your fault.
You are possibly internally bleeding. Go to the hospital.
I want to see my psychiatrist at 2.
Psychiatrist he'll be waiting for me.
I can't reschedule or anything.
And not have to reschedule because I was looking forward to my appointment with him so much. I look back at that time and I'm just like, oh my God, I put my own life under seeing him. I was fully addicted to him at this point.
You admitted that.
What happened?
You admitted
that I showed up and I told him that I may be internally bleeding, and he didn't stop the appointment. He didn't say, you need to take care of yourself. Go get emergency care now. He let me continue and just tell him about
maybe he didn't believe you.
And
Do
how
you
grateful.
think? Okay, I feel like she would have had bruises, like on her head and all that. Did she?
No, she said she had it on her abdomen.
Okay, I mean, I feel like all she said was like, I might be internally bleeding.
No, she said that she had bruises on her abdomen and a perforated eardrum.
When she went to the psychiatrist and just straight up just only told him, like, I might be internally bleeding.
Yeah, he must know how crazy she is she might be just saying that.
Because that was really what most of our appointments were,
Yeah.
is me just like pouring myself out because he was so good at the intermittent reinforcement. Yeah, I got some warmth from him that appointment. So that was January 2023. And
Damn.
I also told my therapist about this. She said nothing. I got a new therapist.
Yeah,
Mate.
because you're
After I risked my life.
What'd you say?
Because you're crazy.
The old therapist is probably just eating it. I low key, I don't know. I would be an awful therapist, but my feedback would be fucking awful. Anybody?
Yes, it would.
Be like, yeah, so my dog died last night, and then I would reply with, did you bury him, or are you gonna get a new dog, or what are we doing here? How did that make you feel?
You're annoying.
I am?
Yes.
Oh, I'm in Aries.
You hear him?
Is that Morty?
To see him, that's when he really started turning up the intimacy in our appointments. However, he was really smart and knew the professional lines.
Also, all
like
the
the
comments are
back of
turned off.
his
The
hand.
past 5
So
TikToks comments are
he
off.
would comment on my appearance, but not compliment my appearance. So I would come on screen and he would say, oh, you curled your hair. Or I would come on screen and he would say, oh, you're wearing glasses. And of course I felt seen and excited that he was noticing these things about me. I didn't realize at this time that he had feelings for me too. I thought I was holding them all by myself. So I was so excited when he noticed my glasses that I ran and showed him my other pair. And he said, I prefer turtle shell glasses. So even though I usually wear contacts, I'm wearing these turtle shell glasses in these videos because just in case he sees them ever, he'll see me in his favorite glasses. He did tell me he likes the turtle shell.
You gotta be shitting
Anyway,
me.
it was just inappropriate things like that. Little.
She hates him and all this, but it's like, in Casey sees these. Let me put on the ones that he really likes. What the F? Like, what?
Teeny things that he let me in. And all this time, my best friend is an emergency medicine physician.
I don't believe you.
And she told me, she said, Kendra, one of these days, your psychiatrist, she would use his name, is going to say, I can't be your doctor anymore. I want to be with you. I want to be with you so bad. I can't be your doctor. I'll see you in 2 years. So my best friend, who's a doctor, she picks up on stuff like that. So even she knew that our relationship was.
You're probably telling her these weird things.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
But that was like that.
She's not understanding the scenario.
Was for my psychiatrist. I almost used his name to do that.
You already used his name.
I told him about Brianna saying that. My best friend, who's the emergency medical doc. I told him that she would tell me that, and he just would be silent. He didn't disagree, but he didn't agree. You know,
probably
and that
to try to move on.
Weaponized neutrality was his favorite game to play.
Weaponized
right? He didn't
neutrality?
disagree with Brianna telling me that my psychiatrist had feelings for me, but he also didn't say that's inappropriate. Let's change the subject. It was also around this time that I asked my psychiatrist if he had diagnosed me with anything other than ADHD when I had my initial diagnosis.
You're crazy.
And he said, yeah, I did. I said, oh, what did you diagnose me with? And he said, well, you had a lot of traumatic things happen to you in childhood because of your dad. And so I diagnosed you with other trauma and stressor related disorder. And that was the first little ping that I got of like, that was weird. Why would he keep that from me? I asked my, like, why wouldn't he tell me that? That seems important. He didn't tell me because he was using that information to manipulate me. He knew I had trauma and stressor disorder. And instead of helping me heal from it and telling me about it, he used it against me.
What are you going to prescribe for that?
I fucking a bullet. The fact that I don't think she explained it that well.
I feel like she's
her
going
friend.
in a weird direction.
I'm starting to feel like Brianna, her friend, is not real.
Probably.
January 2023, at this point, I was full-blown obsessed with my psychiatrist, and my therapist wasn't helping. My psychiatrist wasn't helping me. He was feeding it. And
I don't
then
understand
I got a
the
boyfriend.
feeding.
And
Oh, she got a boyfriend.
My psychiatrist wasn't really that keen, but then my psychiatrist realized that my boyfriend was a lot like my psychiatrist. And then I started talking to my psychiatrist about my sex life, about tracking my cycle, using the fertility awareness method. And my psychiatrist loved it. He didn't never say, this isn't inappropriate to your care. Let's
Define
pivot.
loved it.
Oh, he just let me talk and talk and talk about my sex life. And I didn't get too deep, but
if that's something you want to talk about, then you can talk about it.
I would send my psychiatrist these emails just about how much I liked him and how I was so grateful for him.
She was sending?
Put in a bunch of heart emojis. And this is really when he should have transferred my care, but you know, he waited. He liked what I gave him too much.
I don't
believe
that you understand.
Even though my boyfriend did not meet my needs, my psychiatrist and my therapist both were like, you have to stay with him. There's nothing wrong with him not meeting your needs. I'm like, okay. And my psychiatrist was like,
what kind of
needs?
He's
perfect. Don't get wrong with him. And what was perfect about him was he wasn't meeting my needs. So I was still coming to my psychiatrist looking for emotional validation, which he would drip to me slowly.
What? How?
So my therapist, who I didn't know at this time had bad boundaries, but she did. I went to her because my boyfriend and I, after like more than a year together, we started having issues in the bedroom.
Oh, that's what she meant by satisfying?
And so I went to my therapist and she asked me, what does your psychiatrist think about this? And I said,
I don't know. I haven't talked to my psychiatrist about this stuff because I have a crush on my psychiatrist and I don't want to tell him this intimate of stuff. And she said, well, you should tell him because I want a male's perspective. So at my next appointment with my psychiatrist,
that one was a little weird.
I told him, I said, today we're going to talk about my
That's also a
intimate
good question.
life. And he said, oh. I said, yes. My psychologist, my therapist, asked what your opinion on it was. And I told her that I don't talk to you about this intimate stuff because I have a crush on you. And he looked down and smiled so big in that moment. He smiled so big. And I loved it. It's so gross thinking about it.
I feel weird
and then
watching this one.
Proceeded to give
Part
him
7's weird.
30
She's like
minutes
squinting.
of non-stop content about my intimate.
I feel like we were listening to an audiobook there for a second. He liked it. He liked it. And for the next 30 minutes, I talked about me getting plowed.
With my boyfriend. And I actually recorded the whole thing because
How do you talk 30 minutes about it? Do you think she went in grand detail?
Probably she seems crazy.
Like, I took my pants off and his penis went like a little whoop. And then I did this and woohoo. Did the Mario. Woohoo.
I was so excited about it. But now it makes me sick. I can't even listen to the recording. I've tried.
I don't believe you. Show the recording.
Gross. Any ethical
illegal issue?
psychiatrist would have stopped me
I
and
tried.
said, Kendra, let's talk about your meds. Let's talk about your care. At this point, my meds were stable. And I was still seeing him every month. Yeah, that was a rough time. And
I wish
it
the
was
comments weren't turned off.
pretty much his Christmas morning, the almost 2.5 years of grooming me to get me to talk about sexual things with him.
I feel like this is
worked.
No.
And he got 30 minutes of nonstop content to use.
Literally everything that she's explained that he does is what it seems like a psychiatrist will do. And she just keeps feeding this flame on what she imagines this is what's happening. Mm-hmm. And by God, I mean, we're only on part 8, but it's just...
I need to address 3 things.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
1, people are asking me what my mental health diagnosis is.
Okay, so it took all the way to... Oh, this is 7.5. So it took till 7 for these to really kick off. And, oh, in the what do you call it? When you put something with your post, it says, do not dox my psychiatrist. Okay, so it took till here to where she finally started realizing the comments were like coming at her.
I
They're
do
not
not have
agreeing
BPD.
with her.
I do not have psychosis. I have ADHD, and I was experiencing extreme.
I don't believe she has ADHD. I mean, she probably does, but I feel like there's something else here
There's something else.
besides batshit crazy.
Yeah. There's something else.
The trauma.
limerence with my psychiatrist. Limerence is a normal thing to happen to anyone who is experiencing hot and cold behavior from someone. And it happens more often in people with ADHD because we have dopamine dysregulation and rejection sensitive dysphoria. And guess what? My psychiatrist knew that and used it to his advantage. 2, I accidentally said my psychiatrist's first name in one of my
She said that, what was it, part 3?
Yeah. Like, this was like 4 parts after.
Oh my God. Also, if you can hear Morty.
videos. If you clocked it, good for you. I do not owe him anonymity. However, this is not about doxing my psychiatrist. This is about me sharing my story so other people can view predatory behavior in people in power. Okay? If
anyone doxes my psychiatrist with his last name or city that he works in or clinic that he works in, your comment will be immediately deleted and you will be blocked. This is about protecting other victims, not doxing my psychiatrist. If you do some investigative work and you want to DM me about it, I'm open to that. Okay? 3. I need to take a moment. Moment taken.
God, don't blow on the phone.
It is so incredibly disturbing to me. The amount of people that are predator protectors in my comments.
Oh, God.
That are victim blaming me, especially the mental health practitioners in my comments using therapy speak to say that this situation that I was in was my fault or that I was delusional. Check yourself. You're giving me more ammunition to share my story. Because it just goes to show
she is so mad.
Absolutely messed up the mental health industry is and how protected people who do this kind of sick psychological manipulation are. So I will continue with my story tomorrow. I will see you all then. I need to address...
Oh my God. I think she doesn't like the people's feedback. She's
mad that no one is on her side.
Yeah, I think she thought everyone was going to go and be like, yeah, I believe you. I'm here for you. And instead, which granted, I'm not saying there's bad therapists and all that. There is. But this case, I fully believe is on her. Granted, I mean, that psychiatrist could have said, could have cut her off after she openly admitted she had a crush on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Welcome back to another installment of I Was in Love with My Psychiatrist and He Kept Me Anyway, Part 8. You all did some nasty work last. I had to turn off comments. People started posting my psychiatrist's first and last name, his picture in the comments. That was a jump scare. So, yeah.
That was a jump scare, but he's attractive.
Actors who wanted to be super sleuths got the privilege of commenting, mostly hate, let's be real, taken away for everyone. So at this point in the story, there are 2 main players. My psychiatrist, who's my age, who crossed major ethical boundaries, and my therapist, who is a 75-year-old woman with a PhD.
You're just upset because he didn't find you attractive also.
I knew were
facts
crossing boundaries.
I
thought that everything was hunky-dory and that I was just in love with my psychiatrist and it was totally normal. Little did I know he was manufacturing everything so I could fall in love with him.
She does a lot of repeating.
Because it was on him to set the professional boundary and not let attention build. So days after my psychiatrist's Christmas morning appointment from a few videos back where he got a crush confession from me and then 30 minutes of non-stop intimate content that he did not stop me, my boyfriend and I broke up days later.
Darn.
So then I started dating this other guy.
Oh.
And this other guy, this new guy, was a therapist.
Oh my God, there's 3 now.
I was like, oh great.
There's 3 now.
Someone who will be able to emotionally meet my needs. Yeah, I'm not going to date another therapist again. So this therapist and I, we went for coffee.
You totally wanted it to be like the psychiatrist and live out your fantasy.
This therapist starts telling me about how he has a crush on one of his clients. And I thought to myself, okay, this is strange.
They're meant for each other.
Go ahead. Like, we're on a date, dude. Why are you telling me about a crush on one of your clients? But go off, King. So then he was saying, yeah, she's so attractive. And I think she likes me too. I go and visit her at
That sounds like it's in your head.
They are meant for each other.
That doesn't sound like a real guy.
Talks about you all the time. And I was like, okay, where does she work? And he said, well, I shouldn't tell you that because I really shouldn't be visiting her anyway. I was like, okay, no problem. So then he continues and he said, yeah, she wears these red lacy panties and short skirts.
What the fuck was that size of the cup?
For me.
What was that, a shot?
Alarm bells were going off in my head. Mind you, I had no idea that my psychiatrist had similar feelings towards me at this point. But I just thought, wow, this man is borderline predatory. And he said, yeah, and, you know, she just is so attractive that I have to smash her mate before every session because I just have to get that energy out of me. And I was like, okay. And yeah, he just felt compelled to tell me.
I'll take.
I did not.
I like how she keeps looking to the side, trying to figure out what to say.
So he told me about how he's a predator, right? Another predator in the mental health industry. Shocker. So then, at my next appointment with my psychiatrist, keep in mind, it had been 6 weeks
she told him about
of nonstop fun for this man. He got to use my crush confession and 30 minutes of content.
What does she think he did with that information?
For whatever he wanted to use it for, right? And if my psychiatrist was good at anything, it was being professional and acting professional and technically not crossing any lines.
Do you think he was doing that? Do you think he was doing that?
I don't know anymore.
I think he was just that good at his job that she couldn't understand it.
But that doesn't mean he wasn't doing it. And so...
just take the whole fucking shot!
I told him. I said, yeah, Bo and I broke up. He had known about this other guy, my psychiatrist. I had mentioned him.
Little tiny espresso.
And I told him that this new guy and I went on a date and we went on a hike. And I literally had no idea at this point, I'll say it again, that my psychiatrist was predatory towards me. I almost said his first name again. I'm going to do my best to not.
Oh, to not.
So I went to my psychiatrist and I told him this story about this man that I went on a date with who's a therapist is relieving himself before appointments and talking about his client's panties and doing all of these other extremely inappropriate things like visiting her at work. And this man, my psychiatrist, looked like he had seen a ghost and like he was gonna vomit because he prided himself on being an extremely professional and buttoned up person. But here I was holding a mirror to him with exactly what he was doing, but a bumbling idiot telling me like how he was doing it without the fancy degree, without any of that. I look back.
I'm so confused.
So she thinks he does the same.
Yes.
How delusional do you have to be this dumb? I just don't understand.
Hi, I need to say something really important.
Hi.
And that's that it seems as though many people
Why does it sound like she has a sound machine
I don't
on?
know.
What I'm doing as a mental health spiral. And
yes,
of course it seems like that.
Because it is.
It's an extremely dark thing to talk about. All of this that I went through.
I think she's been crying.
And I am sharing my story because it wasn't out there. No one else has shared a story like this. But I know that it happens a lot because people are in my DMs telling me that the same thing that I went through.
Feeding the fuel.
They went through too.
Feeding the fuel.
I am now in TikTok jail. I got a violation on the video where I talked about really the biggest damning evidence against my psychiatrist. And so because of that, I have to be really careful. So I'm going to do my very best to not be reactive and to share my story from a place of generosity. because the people in my DMs telling me that they've been through this too, it's keeping me going. It's not my mental health spiral. And I can understand that for some people in the mental health space, because they have been some of the loudest people to speak out against what I'm doing, it's hard to grasp that someone could have this level of predation in such a high place of power.
Do you think that people are just telling her that so she can keep being crazy?
I would be... I wouldn't be surprised if there's other people like her in her comments saying the exact same shit. We're just going.
So this is when the chemistry really started going off the charts with me and my psychiatrist, and I held it alone for months. Like after that Christmas morning appointment, after I told him about my date with the therapist.
All right, get the fuck on with it.
And that was exciting to me, and it made me fall for him more. And I noticed that he was working in an office, and I asked him, this was like July. I asked him, I said, hey, are you working from home? Because I was under the assumption that he was only doing telehealth. Okay. And he said, no, I come into the office. I was like, oh, why do you do that? If you see all of your patients telehealth? He's like, oh, I like it that way. And even though I could kind of tell he was lying, I just gaslit myself. I was like, okay.
What?
It's fine.
What?
And then I start emailing him.
What does that have to do with anything?
My fun little email.
I think, I don't know. The way I'm looking at it is that she can't believe that he works in an office, because then the whole claim that he beats its meat before the sessions doesn't make sense. You don't do this at home? Oh, you're lying.
Yeah.
But he stops writing me back. He does not write back to my emails anymore. Because once again, he was really good at plausible deniability. But what he did do is he would take my emails and mention them in session. So he would still give me the attention that I was craving, but only under his structure.
Yeah, you're an attention-seeking
under
whore.
his control, where there was no paper trail. And
no paper
trail. That too. So I would show
it's
up.
It's okay
to
to go into an office because you can get more work done that way.
Yeah.
Throughout the month, as I was thinking about him, I'd write down things that I wanted to talk to him about, and I would just come and bring him lots of content. And then every week I would go to my therapist and tell her about how much I loved my psychiatrist. And she didn't help me at all. She just kind of like enjoyed hearing about it, honestly.
Okay, you're allowed to love your psychiatrist, but not
she probably doesn't understand.
In love.
75-year-old lady here.
She's probably not saying she's in love with him.
I love him. He's so good. I want to see his cock.
October 2024 rolls around, and we're just vibing on Zoom. And then I realized that I didn't have my next appointment with him, so I called his office staff.
Uh-oh.
And I talked to the office manager, who was awesome. We really got along. We vibed. And the
God, he better run.
Manager asked me, do you see him, the psychiatrist, in person or on Zoom? And I felt so angry in that moment. I was like, he sees people in person? And she said, yeah, he has been for years. I was like, I want to see him in person.
Oh,
and
no.
I understand, like,
there's a reason he's probably kept you at Zoom.
Part of my crash out or part of me harassing him, which is what I've gotten lots of accusations of. But I just would like to remind everyone that, of course, it seems that way. But I was just responding to a dynamic which my psychiatrist fostered. There was chemistry between us because he allowed it. And so then the next time I saw him on Zoom, I told him, I was like, hey, your office manager outed you and told me that you see people in person. Why didn't you tell me that when I asked? And he said, oh, I just didn't think you'd want to come in. And that was such a weak lie from him, from someone who...
For the first time, I'll agree, he lied. Because he couldn't come up with anything. I'm like, oh, fuck, she told you? Damn it.
So scripted and controlled, he didn't even have a plausible thing to say. Of course he knew I wanted to come in. I had a crush on him.
That's why he didn't want to
Yeah,
tell you.
That's why he kept it separate.
So then,
Fuck!
in my next therapy appointment, after finding out that he was lying to me about seeing patients in person, I told her that. I told my 75-year-old PhD therapist that my psychiatrist wasn't lied to me about seeing people in person. And she looked at me and she said, well, it's probably because he knows that there will be a lot of sexual tension in the room if you go in person. So
is that really what she
make sure
said?
that you understand that when you go. And you better believe I showed up to the
She
next
was so
session
happy when she said that.
said
You understand where you go.
because you were afraid of the tension that would be there between us. He just didn't say.
There's no way she did that.
October 2020.
Okay, so we're now in in-person sessions.
Oh boy.
This is gonna be bad.
Before I make my first in-person appointment with my psychiatrist in November.
Don't tell me she gets
My
waxed.
75-year-old female
I
therapist.
thought she was
tells
gonna say,
me
I got
that
waxed.
It's because he kept me on Zoom because he was so attracted to me.
Oh,
He
no. So
didn't
it's
wanna
a 75-year-old.
risk being in person with me.
She's gonna die.
Which further fed
just
my
stir the tea.
crush, or as some of you like to say, my delusion. So then
Yeah.
my therapist starts
Delusion.
texting me
Delusion.
in between our weekly meetings, asking me for advice on her other clients. And I
No, that's
was a new
illegal.
coach. I'd only been coaching for about a year, and I had just left my full-time job to be a coach full-time. And
Yeah, she is
I was
ADHD coach. And
Yeah, she's a crazy people coach.
crazy people coach. And I would not be going to her for this.
flattered that she would ask me advice on her other clients. I just
I
thought, oh my
would.
gosh.
You should
A
not
75-year-old woman
be
with a
asking
PhD
a
wants
client
my
you
advice
see
on what she should do with her
advice
clients.
on other clients you're seeing.
So then
I'll
November
take
rolls around, and
This
I'm about
didn't
to
happen
make my
for
That's
1,000.
client. That's confidentiality.
Yeah, that's. I don't believe you. Because I mean, why would you mention that?
Yeah, no.
psychiatrist in person for the first time. So
Yeah,
I wear.
I'll
a
take
really
that
pretty
didn't happen for
dress,
500.
I do my makeup, of course, right? And I show up, and I get to talk to the office manager. We're having fun. And then my psychiatrist comes into the foyer, and I am just so excited to finally meet him. I'd been his patient for 3 years at this point, and he
That
had
is
been
wild.
feeding the dynamic for 3 years. And I was just thrilled to meet him. And I ran up and I gave him the biggest hug. And you know what he did? He barely patted me on the back. It was
Yeah,
the
because you're
most
fucking
thing
crazy.
ever.
Yeah.
But I am so glad that he did that. I am really glad, because this is what I mean.
touched me.
My psychiatrist was many things, but he was not stupid. So I didn't ever touch him again. And I'm grateful that our relationship didn't ever cross that line, because it would have made everything so much harder. Anyway, so we go inside his office, and I tell him that my therapist had texted me asking me for advice on
Please
her
tell me
other
he said
clients. And
that's a
he
bad.
just looked at me and he said, Kendra, that is a huge boundary violation. She should not be doing that.
Good job.
And I was like,
Good job.
oh, okay. And because once again, my psychiatrist did not like sloppy people. He did not like sloppy people. And you know what my therapist did? She got sloppy. Yeah. Using me as her advisor for her clients.
Brother.
It got weird, and I was very grateful for my psychiatrist for pointing out that boundary violation, because that was the thing. He didn't ever message me in between appointments because he was too smart to do that. But did he ever stop me from disclosing extremely intimate details? No. In my first in-person appointment, I just asked him for some pointers for my own ADHD business, and he was so smart and so wonderful, and in many ways, honestly. And I was just so grateful that he was almost like a mentor to me in these moments. And
I love how at the beginning of this, she was all happy, like, oh, she asked me for advice. I was so happy. And then as soon as she's told by the psychiatrist, that's a no-no. She goes, oh, yeah, you're right. So sloppy. So sloppy. I hate the word sloppy because all I think of is sloppy joes.
Sloppy toppy.
All right, we're just going to go.
That's what she wants to do to him.
She wants, what was his name?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's whatever, blank, sloppy, toppy.
Ivron or something like that.
Appointment in November of 2024, and I did ask him for consent to come in person. I didn't just show up, and he
What
said
is his
sure.
music?
And the first in-person appointment went great, but that is when I really started to spiral. Some of you, think
you just admitted
that
you're
I'm
spiraling
now, and
Ah!
that's okay if you want to think that, because the reality is that when I was spiraling was when I was this man's patient. When I had comments turned on, so many people said, you need to take accountability for your own feelings. I spent years taking accountability for my own feelings, for holding the weight of a relationship. Any woman who has been trained to overfunction in relationships knows about holding the weight of the emotional.
Is this just her complaining?
And that was what was going on in this moment. And it may not seem, and I would just be like, I've told him I have a crush on him. Do you think he's gay? And Henry was like, oh my God, this girl, you know, he did his best to co-regulate my nervous system and affirm me, but he was like, whoa. Even my chat was like, yikes. So I could tell that my psychiatrist just liked being my doctor, and I was like, okay.
Oh,
maybe
wait.
I can name this dynamic so I don't have to carry so much of it in our next session. So our next session was in December on Zoom. And I told him at the end of the session, it was another great session. I told him, look, you and I have a really special patient-doctor relationship.
Oh my God.
And he glared at me with just venom in his eyes. And he said, you and I have a professional patient-doctor relationship. He was so angry with me.
Good job.
And I was
Good job,
like,
doctor.
Oh, okay. He set a boundary. And immediately I took it on. And I was like, heard. Okay, I won't go there again. My video that was taken down for
What is her
harassment
hairline?
and bullying was restored.
It's hard fucking
So I
telling.
didn't feel as much pressure to get all of these parts out today. Some people told me that the stitches about me were getting pretty bad. And
I mean, granted, all we're gonna say is that she's batshit crazy, but just get a different therapist. I hope you find a good one. That's all. You know.
so I turned stitches off in my videos too. I started sharing my story here because
People still
I
found
wanted
a way.
other people who have been victimized by people in power and being under scrutiny. I've seen your videos and I appreciate them.
All right. So repeat. It's
When
another
I
repeat.
re-downloaded TikTok last week, I was looking for support. I was looking
Uh-oh.
for
Yeah, you're
help.
attention
Because it had been
seeking.
5 months to my psychiatrist, and I still really couldn't stop thinking about him and
He set a
thinking about our
boundary.
dynamic and how
Let's just-
inappropriate it was.
Let's just put that on the table. He has set a boundary. Told her to her face, we have a professional relationship. So, yeah.
And the mental toll that it took on me. And TikTok has just been such a resource for me in the past for support when I'm going through things, and I couldn't find anything on therapy abuse or that they're not alone. Continuing with my
Hearing
story,
a lot of
my
repeats at this
psychiatrist
point.
set a very nasty, the way he said it, boundary that him and I have a professional relationship when I tried to say it was special. Because it was special, it was different. He manufactured it that way. And
That's like I love you. It's like, I don't. But I love you.
I love you.
I love you. Okay, if I...
Problem. That's his own fault. Henry told me it's very common for patients to develop crushes on mental health practitioners, and that it's because that they provide a safe space to heal, which is a very attractive quality. I heard that. And then he told me about transference. And it's just about me putting my own feelings onto my provider.
Oh, the video stopped working.
And
I wonder how long that's been going on. Uh-oh.
it's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Many people...
Oh.
My buddy. It's okay. There you go. You see Scrappy. You see him in the corner. Oh my God.
reached out to me with concern for my psychiatrist and his career and his well-being. And I totally understand that. The point of me sharing this is not to get him fired or for him to lose his license. The point of me sharing this is to give a voice to victims. It's time to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the racial difference between me and my doctor.
Okay,
we're
not watching this 4-minute video.
I taught a yoga class this morning, like I do every Tuesday mornings, and
Loud.
A lot of things happened in that session after the counter-transferred slip. And I also had my psychiatrist help me draft the email. The psychiatrist preferred me single. Weak line about why he... The last 2 videos and this video was all the same session in February of this year. The counter-transference slip happened many times in his head. And there I was, speaking it back to him.
Right.
On the full moon, when I was ovulating in January. Whoa. How I decided to end this session was I looked at the psychiatrist and I said, a couple weeks ago, on the full moon, when I was ovulating, I had a dream about you. And he was like, oh yeah? And I said, yeah. So I told him this. And I said, yes, we hooked up right here in this office. And he all of a sudden just looked so uncomfortable.
I wonder
why.
He
didn't say anything. He couldn't look at me. He couldn't breathe.
Wonder why.
And sure, maybe he was uncomfortable because he didn't like me saying that I had a dream where we hooked up.
He's zombie crawling.
He could have said that, but he didn't. You want to know why he was uncomfortable? Because he had probably played out that fantasy so many times in his head.
Oh my gosh.
And there I was, speaking it back to him. And it was like I had psychically downloaded one of his fantasies. I continued and I said, yes, we hooked up in this office and I really liked it while it was happening. He could not move or breathe. And then I told him, as he was still looking very uncomfortable, then when we were done and I left, I was distraught with sadness.
Whoa.
Because in the dream, I thought, I cannot believe that he crossed boundaries in that way. Because his boundaries are so important to him.
It's a dream.
And then I told my psychiatrist that I woke up and thought, oh my God, it was just a dream. Thank God.
It was all a dream.
And it was like my psychiatrist turned into a little boy. And he looked at me and he said, so you do like my boundaries? And I said, I love your boundaries. I hate your boundaries, but I love them more. There's the push and pull. The trauma bond.
That doesn't make any sense.
That makes no sense. But all it does is just confirm how crazy you
as
are.
Protection while exploiting me. So I told him about what happens when I ovulate and my desires, and he listened, because of course he did. And then I decided that it seemed like enough time had gone by, and I put my shoes on and started heading to the door. And he met me at the door, which he does not usually do. He didn't ever do that. He just let me leave. And we stood at the door, and I was like, will you get the door? And he scrambled. He was like, oh, sure, sure, sure. So he went and got the door. And then he followed me down the hallway to the foyer and watched me exit. And he asked me, he said,
Oh,
see
my
you
God.
next month? See you next month? He hadn't ever asked me that before. And I looked at him and I said, maybe. And I walked out the door, and I saw that man had let us go 15 minutes over session. And that is when, you know, the special treatment
you're extra
started, the longer
crazy.
sessions. He usually gave me an extra 5 minutes.
And
but,
he's a different race.
The sessions got longer.
yeah.
And I got to my car, and I was just
That's like different
oh my God.
racial
That was
perspectives
the
on
most
things, you know?
intense session we have ever had. The last 2 videos and this video was all this.
I think that was the last one. So we're all caught up.
My brain hurts.
I don't know what happened there. I think the spirit of that girl's crazy went into my iMac. So, thankfully we made it all the way through. Comment down below what you guys think of this crazy girl on TikTok. It's kind of wild. Is she full of herself and delusional? I am thinking yes. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.